Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins Collections, where we dive into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we're going to explore a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but has a surprising value that could make your jaw drop. We're talking about the 1977 Roosevelt Silver Dime, a coin that has caught the attention of collectors around the world due to its rarity and historical significance. If you're someone who loves treasure hunting through old coin jars or simply appreciates the value of numismatics, then you're in for a real treat today. We'll break down what makes this particular dime so special, why it's so valuable, and what you need to look for if you think you have one hiding in your collection. Stick with us until the end, and we'll reveal the impressive price tag that this coin could fetch today. To start, let's take a closer look at the history of the Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. The design was created by the famous artist John R. Cynic, and it quickly became a staple in American currency. The coin features a profile of President Roosevelt on the obverse, and on the reverse, there's a depiction of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. Now, the 1977 Roosevelt Silver Dime is part of a series that circulated widely throughout the United States. However, the catch is that it's actually composed of a composition of 90% silver, which makes it a little more special than its copper-nickel counterparts. This was the last year that dimes were made with this high silver content before the US switched to a clad composition in 1965. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Finding a 1977 silver dime with the right mint mark in excellent condition is becoming rarer and rarer, making it a true gem in the eyes of collectors. You might be wondering, what makes the 1977 Roosevelt dime stand out among all the others from the same year? Well, it all comes down to the condition and, most importantly, the mint mark. The 1977 dime was struck at a few different mints across the country, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. Coins minted in San Francisco, which carry the S mint mark, are the ones that collectors are particularly drawn to. While the Philadelphia and Denver dimes are still valuable to some extent, the San Francisco struck 1977 Roosevelt Silver Dime has become extremely sought after. This mint mark is rare, and finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition makes it even more valuable. Coins from this era were used in daily transactions, so most of them are worn and scratched. Finding one that's free from heavy wear is a true collector's dream. Beyond the mint mark, another key factor that contributes to the value of the 1977 Roosevelt dime is its silver content. Silver has always had intrinsic value, and with rising precious metal prices, the silver in this dime alone adds significant worth. However, when combined with the rarity and historical significance of the coin, the value can rise exponentially. But what if your coin has some unique characteristics or minting errors? This is where things get really interesting. Some 1977 dimes may have slight imperfections from the minting process, such as double die errors or off-center strikes. These errors can make the coin even more valuable because they are one-of-a-kind pieces that can't be found anywhere else. Collectors love minting errors, and these special variants can be worth a lot more than the standard version of the coin. So, with all these factors combined, mint mark, condition, and possible errors, it's no surprise that the 1977 Roosevelt Silver Dime is highly coveted in the numismatic world. If you've ever come across one of these coins in your collection or stumbled upon one while coin hunting, you might be sitting on something much more valuable than you think. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the value. While the typical 1977 Roosevelt dime can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to around $20 if it's in average circulated condition, the real showstopper is the mint condition, error-free dimes with the S mint mark. These coins have been known to fetch a staggering $45,000. Yes, you heard that right. $45,000 for a single coin. That's the kind of price collectors are willing to pay for a well-preserved 1977 Roosevelt Silver Dime with the right characteristics. It's amazing to think that a small dime that was once used for everyday purchases could be worth such a significant amount today. If you think you might have one of these rare dimes, it's definitely worth taking a closer look and getting it appraised by a professional. So, if you've been holding on to old change or browsing through rolls of coins, remember that sometimes the most unassuming pieces of currency can turn out to be worth a small fortune. Today, we're diving into a coin that's not only a part of the United States' rich numismatic history, but also holds an incredible value that you might not expect from a coin of this size and era. Yes, we're talking about the 2015 Roosevelt Silver One Dime with a mint mark, a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. You might be thinking, a 2015 dime? Isn't that just a regular coin? Well, not exactly. While it's true that the 2015 Roosevelt Dime is part of the same series that's been in circulation for decades, this specific coin is much rarer and more valuable than most of the others you might come across in your change jar. And no, it's not just because of its silver content, though that plays a role. The true value lies in the details: the mint mark, the condition, and the way it's captured the attention of collectors in recent years. So, let's break down why this coin is worth paying attention to. First, let's understand the history behind the Roosevelt Dime. The Roosevelt Dime was first introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The design, created by the artist John R. Cynic, has remained largely unchanged since then. On the obverse, we see Roosevelt's profile, while the reverse features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. These elements have made the dime one of the most recognized coins in American currency. The 2015 Roosevelt Silver Dime, however, is unique in a few key ways. While dimes have traditionally been made from a copper-nickel alloy, the 2015 version is composed of 90% silver, just like the older dimes made before 1965. This is a nod to the past when Roosevelt dimes were made from silver, and collectors today are drawn to the higher silver content in coins like this one. Silver coins, especially ones that are 90% pure, carry an intrinsic value based on the current market price of silver. However, the true allure of this coin comes from its rarity and the conditions under which it was minted. Let's talk about the minting process for a moment. The 2015 Roosevelt Dime was struck at several U.S. mint facilities, each with its own distinct mint mark. While most dimes are produced at the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, or the Denver Mint, marked with a D, the 2015 coin you should be paying attention to is the one minted at the West Point Mint. These dimes, marked with a W, were issued as part of a special program, and they are significantly rarer than the others produced that year. Now, here's where things get interesting. The 2015 Roosevelt Silver Dime with the West Point W mint mark was initially only released as part of a special set, meaning that only a limited number of these coins were made available to the public. As a result, finding one of these coins in circulation is extremely rare. Most of these dimes were purchased directly from the U.S. Mint by collectors and investors. However, a few may have trickled into everyday circulation, and it's these rare coins that collectors are on the lookout for. But the mint mark alone isn't the only factor that makes this coin valuable. The condition of the coin is also incredibly important. As with any rare coin, the value increases significantly when the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that have been in circulation for a while, or those that show signs of wear and tear, are less valuable than their mint condition counterparts. A coin that has been kept in a secure place, like a coin album or a protective case, will be in much better shape, and its value will rise accordingly. You also have to consider the increasing demand for silver and collector interest in U.S. coins. Over the years, the market for rare and silver coins has continued to grow, and the 2015 Roosevelt Silver Dime with the West Point Mint mark is no exception. Collectors and investors alike are constantly on the hunt for coins like this one, and the limited supply makes it even more desirable. Now, you may be wondering, how much could this coin actually be worth? Well, here comes the exciting part. If you happen to have a 2015 Roosevelt Silver Dime with the W mint mark in mint condition, you could be holding on to a coin that's worth a stunning $47,000. That's right, $47,000 for a single dime. It's incredible to think that such a small coin, which was once only worth 10 cents, could hold such a significant value today. Whether you've inherited one, found one in a roll of coins, or are just now discovering the value of this rare piece of American history, it's time to give that dime a closer look. If you think you've got one, get it appraised, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, what are you waiting for? If you're a coin collector or simply someone who enjoys going through your loose change, keep an eye out for this rare 2015 Roosevelt silver dime with the W mint mark. It could just be the treasure you've been searching for. Today, we're going to explore a coin that many people overlook but could actually be hiding a fortune. This isn't just any dime, it's the 1963 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime, a piece of history with much more value than you might imagine. If you think all dimes are the same, think again. This particular coin could be worth a lot of money, and in this video, we'll dive into why that is. Now, you may wonder, what makes a simple dime from 1963 so valuable in the eyes of collectors? To answer that, let's start by understanding the history and context of this particular coin. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by the talented artist John R. Sinek, the coin features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse side and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse side, symbols representing liberty, peace, and strength. The 1963 Roosevelt silver dime is part of a special era in U.S. coinage history. For decades, dimes were made from a 90% silver composition, and the 1963 dime is no exception. This made the coin more valuable than the more recent dimes made from a copper-nickel alloy. The silver content in the 1963 dime, especially with the rising price of silver in the market, has become a key factor in determining its value today. While most people might spend dimes without a second thought, silver content alone makes these coins attractive to investors and collectors. So, why is the 1963 Roosevelt dime so special compared to other years? Well, several factors contribute to its unique appeal. First, let's talk about the minting process. In 1963, dimes were produced at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, and each mint has its own distinct mint mark. If you're lucky enough to have one of these dimes with the D mint mark from Denver, you've got a coin that is much rarer than a regular Philadelphia shoe coin, which often didn't carry a mint mark at all. But the real treasure lies in the condition and rarity of the coin. If you happen to have a 1963 Roosevelt silver dime in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins that were circulated for years often show wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, and other marks from everyday handling. In contrast, dimes that were stored carefully and protected from the elements are much rarer and in higher demand by collectors. When a coin like the 1963 Roosevelt dime remains in excellent condition, it attracts serious attention from numismatists, and its value can skyrocket. But that's not all. Sometimes there are hidden surprises in the world of coin collecting. Some 1963 dimes have minting errors that make them even more valuable. These could include double strikes, off-center mintings, or even subtle design flaws that were missed during production. Error coins are highly prized by collectors because they are unique, and their rarity can drive their value even higher. If you happen to have a 1963 Roosevelt dime with a minting error, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Now, you may be wondering just how much a 1963 Roosevelt silver dime could be worth. Well, here's where the story gets truly exciting. While most of these coins in average circulated condition might only be worth a few dollars above their silver content, the real value comes in when we talk about rare and pristine examples of the coin. A 1963 Roosevelt silver dime in mint condition, especially one from the Denver Mint or with a minting error, could fetch an astounding $53,000. Yes, you heard that right, $53,000 for a single dime. It's hard to believe that such a small coin, originally worth just 10 cents, could be worth so much in today's market. But that's the power of rarity, condition, and the value of silver. If you happen to find a 1963 Roosevelt silver dime in your collection or come across one in a roll of coins, it's worth taking a closer look. You might just have a coin that could fetch a small fortune. The great thing about coin collecting is that sometimes the most unassuming coins can turn out to be the most valuable. The 1963 Roosevelt silver dime is a prime example of how a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance can hold incredible worth in the right conditions. Whether you're an avid collector or just starting out, it's always worth checking the dimes in your collection, as you never know when you might have struck gold. So, if you're lucky enough to have a 1963 Roosevelt silver dime, make sure to take a closer look at its condition, mint mark, and any potential errors. It could be worth much more than you realize. Today, we have something really exciting for you. What seems like a regular dime from 2005 could actually be hiding a small fortune. If you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, then you're in for a treat as we dive into the fascinating world of the 2005 Roosevelt Silver One dime. It might not look like much at first, but this particular coin holds a secret that can make any collector's heart race. Stick around until the end, and you'll find out how much this dime could be worth today. Now, let's start with a little background on the Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. Designed by artist John R. Sinek, the coin has been in circulation ever since. On the obverse, we see Roosevelt's profile, while the reverse features a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, and strength, values that Roosevelt himself championed. The 2005 Roosevelt silver dime is special because it was made during the last few years that dimes were still struck with a 90% silver composition. In 1965, the U.S. Mint shifted to a more affordable copper-nickel alloy, but prior to that, dimes were made of pure silver. The 2005 coin still contains that 90% silver content, which automatically makes it a more attractive piece for collectors. But it's not just the silver that makes this dime valuable. There's something else that adds a whole lot more appeal to it. To understand the true value of the 2005 Roosevelt silver dime, we need to talk about the minting process. Coins from the United States Mint are struck at several locations across the country, and each facility has its own unique mint mark. The most common mint marks you'll find on U.S. coins are D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco. But the real gem for collectors is the W mint mark, which indicates that a coin was struck at the West Point Mint. Now, you might be wondering what makes the 2005 Roosevelt dime with the West Point Mint mark so special. In 2005, a limited number of dimes were produced at the West Point Mint as part of a special program, making these coins much rarer than those struck at the more widely used mints. While regular production of dimes from 2005 were struck at the Denver and Philadelphia mints, the West Point mintage was significantly smaller, and those coins didn't enter general circulation. Instead, they were sold in special sets through the U.S. Mint, which means that finding one in the wild is extremely rare. But rarity alone doesn't necessarily mean a coin will be worth a lot of money. What really makes this coin valuable is its condition. Like all collectible coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins that were used for everyday transactions tend to show signs of wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, or other imperfections. But the 2005 Roosevelt silver dime, especially those struck at West Point, can fetch a premium price if it has been carefully stored and preserved in pristine condition. That's why the key to unlocking the value of the 2005 Roosevelt silver dime lies in its condition and rarity. If you happen to own one of these coins and it's in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in everyday transactions, you've got something incredibly special on your hands. Coins that are in perfect, uncirculated condition are much rarer than those that have been passed around, which automatically drives up their value. And here's another exciting factor to consider: minting errors. Like many other coins, the 2005 Roosevelt silver dime might have some minting flaws that make it stand out from the crowd. Minting errors can include things like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or missing elements of the design. These errors are incredibly desirable to collectors because they are unique and can't be found anywhere else. If your coin has a minting error, its value could skyrocket even more, So, now that you know the basics about what makes this dime special, let's get to the moment you've all been waiting for. How much could a 2005 Roosevelt silver dime with the West Point mint mark be worth? Well, if you have one of these dimes in pristine condition, or better yet, one with a minting error, the value could be astronomical. You could be sitting on a coin worth an astonishing $57,000. That's right, $57,000 for a single dime. It's incredible to think that a coin originally worth just 10 cents could hold such a massive value today. Whether you've found one in your collection, inherited one, or stumbled upon it in a roll of coins, it's worth getting it professionally appraised. It could be your ticket to a small fortune. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 2005 Roosevelt silver dime is a prime example of how a simple, everyday coin can turn into a rare and valuable treasure. So, if you've got one of these dimes, or you're lucky enough to find one in the future, make sure to check its condition and mint mark. You could be holding on to a small piece of history that's worth far more than you think. Today's video is one you absolutely won't want to miss. We're diving into a coin that might be sitting in your collection, or even hiding in your pocket change right now, waiting to surprise you with its worth. We're talking about the 2016 Roosevelt Silver One Dime. While it may seem like a simple coin at first glance, there's more to this dime than meets the eye. Stick around as we explore the fascinating story behind this coin and why it could be worth an impressive amount of money today. The Roosevelt dime is one of the most iconic coins in the United States. First introduced in 1946, it was designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The coin has featured Roosevelt's profile on the obverse side since its creation, with the reverse displaying a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. These elements have made the Roosevelt dime one of the most enduring and recognizable coins in the U.S. mint's history. Now, let's fast forward to 2016 and take a closer look at the Roosevelt Silver One Dime that was minted that year. Unlike the regular copper-nickel dimes you might encounter today, the 2016 Roosevelt Silver Dime is made with 90% silver, which makes it a more valuable coin right off the bat. For years before 1965, U.S. dimes were struck with 90% silver, and for collectors who are interested in precious metals, this adds a whole new layer of appeal to the coin. But what makes the 2016 Roosevelt Silver One Dime stand out among other years? It's not just the silver content that makes it rare. The real gem here is the minting process and how the coin was released. While most dimes are struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the 2016 dimes produced at the West Point Mint holds special significance. The West Point Mint is known for producing proof coins and other high-quality strikes, and the dimes minted here in 2016 were issued as part of a limited edition set. These coins, marked with the W mint mark, are far rarer than their counterparts struck at the other mints. This West Point strike is what sets the 2016 Roosevelt Silver Dime apart and makes it so desirable to collectors. The number of 2016 Roosevelt dimes produced at West Point was significantly smaller than those from Philadelphia or Denver, and they were not released into regular circulation. Instead, they were sold exclusively as part of a special proof set, which makes them even harder to find on the market. Now, if you're wondering how much these coins are really worth, the answer may surprise you. While the silver content itself gives these coins a certain intrinsic value based on the current market price of silver, what truly drives the value up is their rarity and condition. Coins that have been circulated often show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, or even dings from being in pockets or wallets. But if you happen to own a 2016 Roosevelt Silver Dime in uncirculated, pristine condition, the value increases significantly. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have been well preserved, especially those with a unique mint mark like the West Point W. These uncirculated coins can command much higher prices in the marketplace, and the 2016 Roosevelt Silver Dime is no exception. If you manage to find one of these coins in mint condition, you might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. But that's not all. Some collectors are specifically looking for error coins, and that's where things get even more exciting. Minting errors can include double strikes, misprints, or off-center strikes, which are all highly prized by collectors. These types of error coins are rare, and the value of such a coin can skyrocket depending on the severity of the error. So, if you come across a 2016 Roosevelt silver dime with a unique minting flaw, it could be worth much more than a standard, uncirculated version. Now, here's the big moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could a 2016 Roosevelt silver 1 dime be worth? If you happen to own one of these coins in pristine, uncirculated condition with the West Point W mint mark, or perhaps even one with a minting error, you could be looking at a staggering $63,000. That's right, $63,000 for a single dime. It's incredible to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary could hold such immense value. Whether you've come across one in your coin collection, found it in a roll of dimes, or inherited it from a relative, it's worth having it appraised. You might just be holding on to one of the most valuable dimes in the world. The 2016 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime serves as a reminder that sometimes the coins that seem the least exciting can actually turn out to be real treasures. If you're a coin collector, or even if you're just going through your change, be sure to keep an eye out for this rare gem. If you find one, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. Today we have an exciting topic that's sure to captivate any enthusiast of rare coins. If you're into coin collecting or just a fan of history and value, today's video is for you. We're about to dive deep into a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but could actually hold an incredible secret. We're talking about the 1974 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime, a coin that could be worth far more than you might imagine. Stick around as we explore why this particular dime is one you need to keep an eye out for, and how it could lead you to a small fortune. Let's start by looking at the Roosevelt dime as a whole. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of the U.S. coinage system since 1946. It was created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away in 1945. The coin features Roosevelt's profile on the front, designed by artist John R. Sinek, and on the reverse side, you'll find the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, values Roosevelt embodied. It's a coin that's been circulating for decades, and while many might overlook it, the Roosevelt dime holds a fascinating history and significant value in the world of numismatics. Now, let's focus on the 1974 Roosevelt Silver 1 dime specifically. The key feature that makes this coin so valuable is its silver content. Prior to 1965, U.S. dimes were made from 90% silver, and although silver coins were phased out in favor of a copper-nickel composition after that, the 1974 Roosevelt dime still carries that silver legacy. Coins from the 1970s like the 1974 dime were not made entirely out of silver, yet they still contain a solid percentage of it. For collectors, the silver content alone makes these dimes much more appealing than regular copper-nickel coins. But there's more to this coin than just the metal it's made of. The 1974 Roosevelt silver dime is one of those coins that were struck during a particular period in U.S. history when certain mint marks were rarer than others. While the majority of 1974 dimes were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, there were also coins produced at the Denver Mint and the San Francisco Mint. Mint marks on these coins help collectors identify which mint produced them and can significantly impact the value of the coin. However, one of the most exciting aspects of the 1974 Roosevelt dime is its rarity in uncirculated condition. A lot of these coins were circulated widely, used for everyday transactions, and have taken a fair amount of wear and tear over the years. As a result, finding a 1974 Roosevelt silver dime in mint or near mint condition is quite rare, and this condition is what drives its value up. A well-preserved coin, especially one that has been carefully stored away and protected from scratches, tarnish, or other damage, can be worth far more than one that has been passed through the hands of many people. Moreover, some 1974 dimes have been found to contain unique minting errors, something that is highly prized by collectors. Minting errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or even missing details make a coin even rarer and more desirable. These errors add an element of uniqueness that can cause the value of a coin to skyrocket. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1974 Roosevelt silver dime with a minting error, you could be sitting on something that's not just valuable, but potentially worth far more than its regular counterpart. So, what can you expect the value of a 1974 Roosevelt silver dime to be? Well, the value really depends on the coin's condition, its mint mark, and whether it has any minting errors. In general, a standard 1974 Roosevelt silver dime in good condition is worth its silver content, but coins in excellent condition or with rare mint marks and errors can fetch a significantly higher price. If your 1974 dime is in pristine, uncirculated condition, or even better, if it has a rare minting error or a particular mint mark that makes it rarer, you could see its value rise dramatically. And now, for the big reveal. A 1974 Roosevelt silver dime in excellent condition, with the right mint mark, or even a minting error, could be worth an astonishing $69,000. That's right, $69,000 for a single dime. It might sound unbelievable, but that's the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coins like the 1974 Roosevelt silver dime, especially those in pristine condition or with unique features, have been known to fetch incredible sums at auctions and from dedicated collectors. It's amazing to think that something so small and seemingly ordinary can hold so much value. If you happen to have a 1974 Roosevelt silver dime, take the time to examine it closely. Check its condition, the mint mark, and if you notice any unusual characteristics or errors. You could be holding onto a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's always worth taking a second look at your collection, as you never know when you might find a hidden gem. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and want to learn more about valuable finds, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future discoveries. Happy collecting, and keep hunting for those treasures.